That time when you were going through something, what was keeping you going? What was the support system? Did you have one at that time?
At that point in time, I thought that if my life ends today, then it's going to be my old name everywhere. Like,
Wow.
it's going to be that name on social media or like wherever. And I don't want to leave this world living as a man. You know, if it happens, it has to happen glamorously. As myself, I have to experience this world in my true body and in my true identity for some time. And I think that idea that there is a version of myself out there that I need to access that is not here yet, that kept me going. I was just following that voice because there were times that my parents didn't understand either. They get it now. But the first thing that my mom said, you know, when I came out as queer was, are you going to grow boobs? Because I can't take that. Like, that's too much LGBT for me. And I was like, I get it now, you know, because it's not easy for any parent when a child has an unconventional path. And then I think when my parents went to therapy and started understanding things themselves, then those 3-4 years later, they became more of a support system in my life, for sure.
That's quite a cool thing to hear that your parents went to therapy.
Yeah, that never happens, right?
Yeah. Was it at their own decision? Was it something that you pushed them to do?
So there was a friend of theirs who was a psychologist, and he knew that this was happening. And so, you know, mom was like, let's chat and see. And that's what happened. And now, my God, my mom will look at all of this therapy speak on Instagram and be like, do you have abandonment issues? I'm like, what? And she'll be like, generalized anxiety. She knows all the words now, and it's really like, wow. I think for them to access therapy and to do the work was my biggest blessing in some ways. Because if they hadn't done that, they wouldn't have supported my transition. You know, when I started making money off of content and acting and things, I could fund the rest of my transition.
Yeah.
But those first few initial steps was them. I think if you've brought a child into this world and they're queer or gay or bi or whatever, you have a responsibility to support that child. And even if it's a career choice you don't agree with, a partner you don't agree with, or whatever, they're still your child. Like, you should be allowed to go back home and be like, Mom, help, you know. And I think to have that support system now is a privilege. It really is.
To have parents who actually understand you is a privilege, no matter where you are and who you are. I really feel so.
I have a question. How many of you in the room think your parents understand you? Show of hands. I'd say like a good 30-40%. I just want to say one thing. I feel like as kids, right, we really expect our parents to be perfect, and we expect them to be this position of authority that they know everything.
Yeah.
They know how to be with you. It's not true. They will never be perfect. Even if you're 30 years old, they will not understand certain things about you. And so much of becoming an adult is just knowing that, okay, I will accept them as they are.
Yeah.
I can't change them beyond a certain point, and I will go and have my own life and career and whatever outside of that space.
Yeah.
But our parents are human beings. They're imperfect people, as are we. No one is perfect.
I find this fascinating that your parents actually decided to go for therapy to understand their child better. That is just, I think, like a radical thing that I've heard.
That's true. For them, it started with language. My mother is Bengali. My father is Telugu. So the thing is, with Bengali and Telugu being two completely different languages, gender is also different, no? So for them to use the right pronouns in Telugu and Bengali and stuff, it was very complicated for them. So I think they needed help to figure out, firstly, okay, this is my daughter. And when they believed that, it started changing in their language. But that initial step of, okay, we need help, it mostly came because there was this, sounds cheesy, but unconditional love in some ways for their kids, where they were like, we can't have anything bad happen to you medically if she goes and does something and it doesn't work, or there's a mistake It's irreversible, right? So they knew that education and health are two things that we will not compromise on, which means we have to understand our child better,
Yeah.
no matter what that takes. And that is what led them to,
How amazing.
invest in that as a process.
I mean, that is genuinely, I mean, full marks to them for being parents who
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
go to that step for their child.
Not a lot of parents do it.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, And I've now at this point been to over 150 campuses in India. And the number one thing that I keep hearing from young people about any of the mental health issues that they go through is that my parents don't understand me.
Yeah.
It is really like the crux of what makes so many young people go through depression, go through anxiety, that I want to be something, I want to be somebody, but I wish my parents would understand. I wish they would see me for who I want to be versus who they want me to be, which is always the biggest barrier in young people
100%.
even finding happiness in their lives. So I actually, for you, I mean, I can't even imagine how hard it must be. You're doing, you're taking up medical, and that is something that you eventually end up not pursuing full time. And then you are going through something in your identity as well, that again is something that you'll have to explain to your parents. How are you having both of these conversations parallelly?
I was a bad kid. Okay. I was a good kid for a long time, and then I was like, I don't want to be a good kid anymore. The thing about being a good kid in India or anywhere in the world is if you don't have any needs, you don't ask for anything.
Yeah.
Right? The second you need support, the second you need things, that's when you start becoming a not so good kid. And then if you do something that's opposite to what people want of you, then you're a really bad kid.
Yeah.
So as long as I was a good kid, I realized I wasn't happy at all. And if it was getting me to a point of not wanting to live, then I was like, fuck that shit. Like, I don't want to be this person in my life where I'm this unhappy. It's not worth it.
What was the good kid, what were you doing or being asked to do as a good kid?
Don't fight with people. Don't walk like a girl. Don't talk like a girl. Don't play with the girls.
Wow.
Don't cry. Get straight A's. Play sport. Don't do girly things in school like dance. And that list goes on, right? So you try and you fit the idea of what people think is good because that is what a child knows. And then you realize that that's a load of bullshit. And that's when I realized that we've got to do better. And there was a rebellious side in me that just had to come out. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share.